Hi, this is Frances, and it is March 16th, 2019. It is the day before St. Patrick's Day, so I wanted to go ahead and make some corned beef and cabbage. And definitely, love corned beef and cabbage. If it was something that wasn't like a once a year thing, I'd be in trouble because corned beef and cabbage is very, very salty. In fact, corned beef was cured with salt and it has some other curing agents. That's why it was actually called corned beef. Now, what I've done though is I've added the extra vegetables, the cabbage. It's got little carrots and onions and celery in it. And also the potato blend has the carrots, onions, and celery in it. Now, if you are someone that is on a low carb diet, what you would need to do is just not eat the potatoes and maybe not eat the carrots. But corned beef and cabbage is a once a year indulgence, so I really enjoy having it. So what I did is I put it in my power cooker, my quick pot. I put the corned beef in there. I put water up to not quite covering it, almost covering it for 40 minutes. And then take it out. And then I have cut up potatoes and carrots and celery that I put in there for about 8 minutes. I probably cut that down maybe to 6 minutes. About 6 minutes, then I add some onions in there and I put it in there another 4 minutes. Depending on your machine and how long you can actually program it for. Now, when it finishes, when the corned beef is finished cooking, I take it out, put the other vegetables into the juice, and like I say, I do it for about 6 minutes, and then come back, put the onions in, put it in for another 6 minutes. But before I do that, I reserve about 2 scoops of the liquid from there, because I cook my cabbage in a separate pan, because cabbage can get overcooked in 2 minutes in a pressure cooker. So I don't do the cabbage in the pressure cooker. Now, what I do for the cabbage, because I want the flavor of the onions and the carrots and such, is I get the Mirepoix blend from Kroger. And I saute it and then put the cabbage on and start it sauteing and wilting down. Put the top on. Get it a little bit sauteed and then put the water over it. Now this is carrot, celery, and onions. Just like Mirepoix, if you were like a French, they teach that in culinary. I didn't go to culinary school, but I have worked in kitchens where a lot of people do have gone to culinary school. So I just buy this already made. And so this turns out really good. And like I said, it's a once a year indulgence for me because it is really, really salty. I buy the flat part rather than the thick part, which is a little bit leaner because it can be really greasy. And one other thing I wanted to mention is do not put any salt in the water. I rinse my corned beef off prior to cooking it because it is loaded with salt. So I hope that you enjoy this. Again, I've added a whole lot of vegetables. That way, corned beef is the indulgence part. Now, if you enjoyed this, I really appreciate it if you share this because I am going to be I'm making YouTube one of my jobs, and I would definitely appreciate any subscriptions and any sharing. Thank you so much for listening to me today. And again, I hope you enjoy this and have a happy St. Patrick's Day.